On the western edge of East Hampton, Massachusetts, lies a mine following a set of hydrothermal faults in the bedrock, which carries lead ore and other secondary materials. This is the Loudville Lead Mine. The Loudville Lead Mine was first discovered in 1678 by a man named Robert Lyman. This mine went through 6 ownership periods between 1678 and 1862. The first ownership period was by Hezekiah Usher and Richard Warren, who owned it in 1680. Then, Samson Simpson and Ethan Allen, who was part of the Green Mountain Boys, owned it in 1765. Then, in 1768, William Bowden took ownership. Following him was Perkins Nichols, who owned it in 1809. Following him was Sanford, Coit, and Griswold, who owned it in 1851, and finally, the Manhan Silver Lead Mining Company, who owned it up until 1863. One building that was decidedly successful and rebuilt in later operations was a capstan, because it was the primary protection to the shafts and adits. After mineral rights were attained and the approval for mining was given, the owners and prospectors began creating buildings and structures needed in order to live and be successful in the mine. These buildings worked well for the miners during the years of operation, and truly revolutionized the mining area of Loudville. Adits and shafts were the ways that miners dug and found materials in deeper parts of the earth. In order to address the problem of water flowing into the mine shafts, the owners adopted a new method of water extraction known as adits. Adits were dug horizontally and used to drain the water from the shafts away from the pores or ore that they found to be worth mining. The water wheel was the primary source of power in the mine. It was used to power the tramway, which was almost like a small railroad inside the mine. The water wheel would attach to the tram cars, which, when filled with ore, would be pulled up the north adit and then moved on a railroad-like track, which was actually stretched across the river by a trestle-like bridge. The cart would then be transported to the top floor of the stamp mill, which was the location of rock crushers. The tram car would then move back down the trestle by the force of gravity, because the tramway was at an upward angle toward the mill from the adit. The ore would be brought and managed by miners in the top floor of the building, where they would place the large ore-filled stones inside rock crushers, which would break them down into manageable sizes. The water wheel powered these rock crushers, and multiple crushers were present in the mine. One building was the engine house, which was a building where the steam engine was held and powered a pump, which extracted water from a shaft, allowing the shaft mining to continue. The engine's main purpose was to power the Cornish water pump, which was responsible for bringing water out of the new engine shaft and pumped into the water course, which was extremely important in powering the water wheel. In the area of the engine shaft was a smelter chimney, which was 300 feet long horizontally on the ground and rose 80 feet into the air, essentially to release unnecessary and dangerous fumes. This canal was a draftway to the chimney. It had a bridge over it and was completely covered with bores to create a stronger draft, which increased the efficiency. Based on how this smelting chimney was built showed how Yankee ingenuity was an influential part of the mine. After the Cornish mining era finished, the mining in Loudville began to slow down and entered the final mining operation by the Manhan Silver Lead Mining Company. Although this company failed and continued to work on the mine until its closing in 1862, the evolution of America's technology and inventions caused the mine to truly explore deeper parts of the mine and solve the problems that were faced before the technology booms, allowing Loudville to be explored and dug for an impressive period of time.